morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in this world. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. It might be 5 o'clock where you are, and it's definitely not 5 o'clock here. So for those of you who follow me and my little company, Ad Zombies, you've been probably seeing a bunch of content coming out about how I am giving away my best stuff for free starting today. And I'm actually giving everyone who subscribes to the podcast, 3 Yellow Chairs, and who follows the blog, one chapter of my book every week until the book is fully delivered for free. And I'm doing this today on September 23rd, which is a very special date for me and for this lady right here. This is my wife, Allison, who has been married to me now for 24 years. Oh my
crazy.
God.
We didn't have glasses back then.
No.
We both wear glasses.
No glasses, no wrinkles, and I had way more hair.
True.
And yes, she is taller than me. So if you're noticing that, you don't have, like, are you wearing heels?
No, I'm wearing Vans.
Okay. So the reason I wanted Allison in the office today, and I think this is really important to me. Hey, Brad, good to see you. Thank you for joining us today. Brad's on Facebook. Zachary's on Facebook. Nice to see you in the ecosystem. LinkedIn, we'll check in with you momentarily. Allison has been through this roller coaster of life being married to me. Now, some things that I don't talk about very often, but you're going to start seeing content from me around this, is the fact that I have really bad ADD. What was that? What?
No, you do.
It's horrible. I get squirreled by things really easily, and it's been challenging for me in life because of that. However, I don't think of ADD as a curse. I think of it as a blessing, because I do a lot of stuff faster than a lot of people, way faster. In fact, I would say faster than normal. By the way, which
stuff faster than a lot of people.
Well, honey-do lists don't require fast execution, or do they? Depends what they are. So I decided a while back that I really wanted to have Allison join me on a podcast, either for TYC or for a Facebook Live or a LinkedIn, and really talk about, thank you, Zach, for that. Happy anniversary. And you are awesome, and I appreciate it. And Brad, thank you so much as well. And I wanted to talk to my wife because I wanted to share the journey that we've been through, because not everyone understands what it's like building a business or building multiple businesses, or how to grow a business from zero to wherever you want to take it. And although she has yet to read the book, which I'm not bitter about, by the way.
I lived it.
I know. And she says that, and I've shared that you've lived this journey. I wanted to start with a very simple happy anniversary.
Thank you.
That was how formal our day was this morning. We were in the
Yes.
kitchen scrambling, getting the kids ready for school, and she looks at me while we're having our coffee, and she's like, "Oh, happy anniversary." And
we have dinner plans later this week with friends.
Yes, we do, and I'm super excited about it. Great place. And so we'll go celebrate our anniversary next weekend.
Yep.
So from your perspective, other than the, heart failure that I occasionally bring you, just from the way I operate. And
I wouldn't say it's heart failure. It's
Okay.
frustration.
So what's that been like for you? And what are the biggest challenges?
Okay, well, let me say this, that early on in our marriage, it was much harder.
Okay.
But as we've had kids and I see the character traits that you have in our children, I understand better that that's just the way you're wired, rather than you really don't care about what's important to me or whatever, or what our family needs in the moment, that, So I think that's the big thing, is just early on, it was frustrating for me, and I couldn't understand why you didn't do things the way I did it, or you could walk past something 10 times and never see it sitting there, and
It's true.
Things like that. And I've come to realize, and I think you've grown over the years, on how to use those things that make you can to your advantage. The things that were frustrating to me early on in our marriage you've honed those skills to use them to your advantage?
Now, it's taken me years to develop self-awareness about this too. You know, the guy you see today, hi, Carrie and Jason, thanks for joining us. The guy you see today in the content that I'm producing, the content that I'm putting out there, the conversations I have, if you've attended any of the conferences like DAX in New York, my conversations with Gary Vaynerchuk, that person is very different than the person that I was 10 years ago, 5 years ago.
Yes, it is. But let me say one thing that I think why our marriage has survived 24 years today is you've always been very self-aware and opening to hearing where you needed to work on things or where, I mean, I think the first time we went to marriage counseling was after we had our first child.
Yep.
And it was hard. I mean, all moms do it. Like, I have to make 100 different asks to people to get a haircut, and he's going to get his haircut during the day leaving work. And I'm like, that's not fair. And but he was always open to hear, like, we need to fix this. And we both, I think, have been open to hearing what we need to do differently.
And by the way, I am not, you know, I noticed that I get a lot of love on comments and posts and stuff, and super transparent, as I've always been. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Carrie, for the anniversary wishes. I am not a great parent, and by any stretch of the imagination. And I do the things that I need to do as a parent, as a dad. But like, if there were parenting awards given out, I would probably not even qualify for one.
Oh, that's not true.
No, I really don't think I would, because so I keep, everything has to be on a schedule. If it's not on my phone is over here doing the LinkedIn. If it wasn't on my phone, or if my Alexa didn't tell me what to do, or Siri didn't have everything scheduled, it would be really difficult for me to function. And so,
but a good parent, as you are, you put in your phone or Alexa at 2:45 to remind you that you have to leave and go pick up our son. Or so, I mean, you show up, you just have reminders to show up.
Right.
Not everybody shows up.
No. And so for me, it's really difficult for me without those tools to function as an adult. And part of it is, it's my ADD, but the other part of it is that because what I do, I love so much that I get immersed in it. And when I am immersed in something,
you get tunnel vision.
I do, and time just flies. And the next thing you know, it's midnight, and my wife would be tapping me on the shoulder going, are you going to go to bed tonight? Because I don't see it as work. I don't see what I do as work or this as work. This is just who I am. It's my wiring.
Well, you know, early on when we first were married, Ken used to, like, we didn't have phones back then. He used to sleep with the legal pad next to the bed.
One of these next to the bed. I still have them.
Every night. And I'd wake up in the middle of the night and he'd be there jotting down notes. I'm like, what are you doing? His brain just doesn't shut down.
And which I blame for this. It's the excessive heat up here. That does it.
I thought it was genetics, but whatever.
It's genetics play a part in it, a small part. So for me, understanding who I am has taken me 52 years to get there. I'm not perfect. I'm a work in progress. We all are.
Right.
But I am open to learning and improving and being better, you know, and doing better as a human being. I don't think that, you know, you achieve a level of success and then you go, okay, done. No. And then you move on.
We tell our kids that all the time. We say we don't expect perfection. We expect effort.
Effort, always.
Yeah.
So I want to go back now to March 6, 2017, the day that this thing, Ad Zombies, started by accident. And one of the chapters in the book, I have really dig into that day that we sat in the office together and just both cried. And you have to understand, so one of the things that I learned from Tony Robbins was that I am not an entrepreneur. I'm not a pure entrepreneur. I am an artist with entrepreneurial tendencies, right? True entrepreneurs, their office wouldn't look like this, right? I'm an artist. I like the creative, but I have entrepreneurial tendencies, and those LinkedIn tapped out. That's okay. No worries. We'll get to that later. entrepreneurial tendencies means that I have some of the components that an entrepreneur would have. Like I have risk tolerance, but not fully risk tolerant. But this thing started, and it started to explode very quickly. And you were the victim of business development.
I don't know if victim's the right word, because we both knew the demands that were being put on you. Like, we knew that we had to seize the moment,
Right.
that we had no other option but to run with this.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but that came at well, I don't want to say a price, but it came with sacrifice.
Absolutely. And there are some definite difficult moments in our marriage during the building of Ad Zombies. And so that's what I talk about. There's a chapter in the book that kind of talks about that struggle, talks about the day that we were both
sat in the office crying.
Yeah. But what's it been like for you watching this from it's not a sideline position, but it's really the 50-yard line that you get to really experience this from. Mm-hmm. What's it been like for you watching this evolve, grow, the struggles, frustrations?
Well, I think it's different for me than it is for you.
Okay.
Because you're the risk taker. You thrive on that. You thrive on learning new things. I'm the opposite side. I want to plan everything. I want to evaluate everything, but to a fault. So I don't think I would ever take those risks. And so I've had to shift my line of thinking from what the risk is involved in building Ad Zombies to putting my faith that you will do whatever it takes, and faith in the fact that we won't ever need for something.
Right. We're not going to starve. We're not going to be homeless.
Starve, because if this doesn't work out, then you're on to the next thing, which was hard for me in the beginning because I grew up with my dad, worked for a company and retired from a company for 30 years.
Right.
That's what I expected my husband to do. And you're just not wired that way.
No.
So my stability came not from a job, a steady paycheck. My stability then was coming from just having confidence in you, which is a little hard.
Wait, that you can't have confidence in me?
No, but not confidence.
No, I know what you're saying.
That mindset is where the idea of where stability comes from, because that's not what was shown to me growing up.
Right.
My grandmother retired. She worked in a factory from the same company. My dad retired from the same company. That's what I expected my husband to do, is get a job and work for that company for 30 years, retire, and we'd have a great life.
And I almost did that. I worked for a company for 15 and I was good, but
but you always had a side hustle.
I did. And by the way,
did.
While we're talking about this, do you know what's squirreling me right now? You know me. Take a look at the video right now while we're talking and doing this live. By the way, camera's up there. You notice the little,
I know. I'm
a little cheek. No, that's fine. But do you know what's squirreling me right now?
What?
The glare.
The glare. Oh, how funny.
It's totally squirreling me. So I feel like I need to take a wipe or something. So I'm all shiny.
So I think from the 50-yard line, it's kind of fun watching you. I think since I've been fired from the business, I think it's been so much better because I'm not into the day-to-day, so I don't feel the need to know every little bit to have like comfort or peace of mind and knowing how things are going, or you know what I mean? How are we handling this? What's the next thing, or whatever. So it's been a little
firing you from the business. By the way, my business partner actually did it. We worked together in doing this because for me, firing you from the business was more to protect our marriage than to get you out of the business.
But I know, we've talked about it, that you wanted your wife and...
Right. I wanted my wife, not a business partner.
Well, accounting is not my thing.
I understand that.
So it was very stressful trying to figure out all the tax and everything else. Like
payroll and all this other garbage that goes with the business. By the way, businesses have taxes, payroll, and health insurance, disability insurance, liability, like the list is endless. So if you're just starting out on your journey of building whatever it is that you're building, just know that there are challenges of building a business in front of you, and you learn those things as you go. So I want to go back to that day when we were in the office, and I don't remember if it was a day or night specifically.
It was a day. The kids were at school.
And so this started in what is now my youngest son's bedroom. This was back then an office. And Allison walked in, and we were both feeling the weight of the growth of ad zombies. You have to understand, if you've ever had an anxiety attack, you know what that pressure feels like. It's scary and it feels very real. And if you've ever had a deadline that is really time sensitive, like your life and job depends on it, that's what it felt like virtually around the clock in the early days, because we didn't have, well, let's start with, we didn't have systems and processes from day one.
A lot of it was on paper and spreadsheets.
Yeah, it was color-coded emails and spreadsheets, and it was really challenging. And for me, I didn't have the time or the expertise to build systems and processes. I was just hitting the go button. So for me, it was all about getting momentum and traction, because I saw the opportunity and the need in the ecosystem, right? And so, but we both kind of had this epiphany, and it was around the same time. And it was the same time. And it was the day that you came into the office. Do you remember that day?
I do, very much.
Describe what happened on that day, because your recollection of that day is going to be far clearer than mine, and you're going to articulate it in a way better fashion.
I don't know if I'll articulate it, only in the sense that I really felt like a single parent. Mm-hmm. And, two of our kids have special needs. And so it was just becoming overwhelming, doing everything and not having anybody to be on my team with. And it was hard, but I also realized what you were trying to accomplish as well. And, you had all these ad orders coming in and wanted to maintain the integrity of what you were putting out there. And so you had your hands in everything. We didn't have other people. And so you were trying to seize the moment.
Right.
But
you were a solo parent.
But I was a solo parent. Yeah. Like I had nobody to count on besides you.
And so for those of you who are just finding out about me, just discovering this post, or the fact that I'm giving my book away chapter by chapter each week, in the book, I actually talk about the family structure. And so just to bring you up to speed on what she said, my wife and I have 5 children. We have 2 biological. We fostered 19 kids, and of the 19, 3 of them were adopted. We adopted. And but our 2 youngest have special needs. They have some challenges and require twice as much, if not more, intervention and parenting and all the other things than any of our other children combined. And so it's a challenge at times, but you're like Superwoman. Like, I don't know how. I go out of town. My schedule has gotten more hectic. I go out of town. I speak at conferences. I'm going to events. I'm meeting with, I'm doing things. Yeah. And what I love about her and Allison is just, when I say she's a rock, like, I can just say, hey, I've got to be here then. And she's like, have a great trip. And I'm gone. And but that's taken you a while to get to as well, where you've gotten your systems dialed in so that when I leave, it doesn't negatively impact the household.
It's still, I don't want to say negatively, but we bob and weave for sure.
Right.
Because getting everybody to everywhere they need to be, we have soccer, we have football, we have horse therapy, we have this therapy, you know what I mean? So it's kind of bobbing and weaving, but I get it done. Yeah, so we're moms. Moms make it work.
Yeah, no, for sure. If the wife or a husband of someone who's starting a business finds this, what would you tell them in terms of being the supporting role, right? The supporting spouse in this journey. What advice would you give them? And I know I'm throwing this out to you without any.
So I think actually the one thing that we didn't do early on, and I think would have been, I don't want to see a game changer, but I think we've had more and more discussions about this, our vision board. Like, what's our vision for our family? And what are we willing to do to get there? We didn't have those early on, even with the side hustles. You know what I mean? Right. It was a matter of just go and do. But now I think to know that we're both on the same page and what our vision is for our family, I think is what is important.
So it's like mission and purpose.
And communication.
Right.
I mean, like I said, we went to counseling after our first child. And I think that the best thing that ever came out of it was just having open communication and being okay, like going into your office and saying, I feel like I'm a single parent and you're crying because you're overwhelmed. And you're, at the time, we're the only person in there in the business. So you had nobody to bounce ideas off and share the load with.
I couldn't breathe.
I was still doing the billing, but I couldn't I don't do what you do. Right. So I think communication is key to just bobbing and weaving as you go.
Cool. So if you have any questions and want answers, you want to connect, you want to talk about your journey as an entrepreneur, you want to bounce ideas off of me, I love doing that. So feel free to hit me up, DM me, comment, whatever. But if you want to get a copy of this book for free, this is my anniversary gift, not to you, to them. And so you can simply go to AdZombies.com, hit the blog, and you can actually, you don't have to, there's no opt-in, by the way. This isn't a lead magnet. This isn't a sales pitch. You just can go to my company website, go to the blog, and each and every week on Monday, starting today, which is already out there, I will be delivering a chapter per week of my book, Jab Till It Hurts, How Following Gary Vaynerchuk's Advice Helped Me Build a 7-Figure Brand. And it's also available on iTunes, Spotify, on my podcast, TYC, which is 3 Yellow Chairs. Those 3 yellow chairs are out there in our lobby. And those are the chairs where all the great conversations happen. And so that's where it is. So I want to talk to you a little bit about the Gary Vaynerchuk effect on the business. Because when I said Gary Vaynerchuk, I noticed your posture changed. What are your thoughts on having Gary V as a mentor?
It makes me tear up.
How so?
Just his.
It's okay.
Just him being willing to take the time to give you one piece of advice that really changed the course of everything for us.
She's making me cry. So if you want to read about that, understand that, I obviously post about it. He is such a great human being, and he's genuine. The stuff that he puts out on the internet is real. And if it wasn't for him, yes, I am fully aware that I executed on the stuff that he said, hey, you should be doing X, Y, and Z. So he didn't build this business. He is not building the business, but the advice he has given, I have put to use 100%. And it's a game changer. So if you're thinking that, oh, Gary's not real, he's not full, let me tell you something. The man is such a mensch. Look it up if you don't know what the word mensch is. You can Google that. And his advice is solid. And he is incredibly self-aware. And he cares. And he's a genuine human being. And if it wasn't for Gary Vaynerchuk, my business wouldn't be where it is today, which is why when I was working on the title, I got his permission, because his book is Jab, 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 Right Hook. And I wanted to give credit to the man, because if it wasn't for Gary, this wouldn't be where it is. So anyway, thank you for coming in today.
Yep.
Are you okay?
I'm fine.
You're good?
I need tissue.
All right. I don't know if I have any. You can use my sleeve.
No,
okay.
That's fine.
Thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and we'll see you around. And don't forget, DM me. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Google, LinkedIn. You can find me. Have a great week ahead. Happy anniversary, by the way.
Thanks. You
Bye.
too. Bye.